Let's get into it. Peace and wellness, family. I hope that y'all are well and happy and whole and all that good stuff. If you are new here, I am the Queen Poe. Okay. And the intentions for this video is for us to discuss this upcoming Mercury retrograde that we have that's going to be happening during the holiday season. It starts November 25th and lasts until December 15th, but we are already in the pre-shadow period for that energy. And the energy will last until about December 29th. So it's moving through the holiday season. Okay, shout out to Gucci. Holiday season. Okay, that's really DJ Drama with Gucci. Bird Print 3. You got to be a Gucci fan. You got to be a Gucci fan, okay? But family, I want us to discuss and identify some wellness practices that we can implement during this holiday season while Mercury is in retrograde so that we can not just survive, but we can thrive through this energy. Because, y'all, Mercury is our planet of communication, agreement, personal technology, transportation. When Mercury is in retrograde, there tends to be challenges in those areas. Okay. So we are going to get into all of that. First off, let me say shout out to the wellness community. Butterflies in the sky. I see y'all. Hey, Variety with the Virgo. Hey, Miss Harris. Is that Mika girl? Hey, honey. Hey, Amina. Nikki, the tribe. I love y'all dearly. Thank y'all for always pulling up and always supporting. I appreciate the wellness community so, so much. And if you want to join the wellness community, pull up, pull up, pull up. It's down there. Read the bottom. Okay. And you'll know exactly how to join the wellness community. Now, family, I don't want to be before you long. Okay. I don't want to be before you long. So we're going to get right into it. Okay. Y'all, Mercury will be retrograde in Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is a mutable fire sign ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is our planet of expansion. When we have Mercury in Sagittarius, it makes the areas of communication, technology, transportation, and agreements flow with ease because Sagittarius is an idealistic energy, a free flowing energy, a very communal energy. So, anytime Mercury is in Sagittarius, it's a good time to be in community and to feel free when it comes to having conversations about dreams, desires, goals, and all of that good stuff. It's a good time to meet people, right? It's a good time to sign contracts and make agreements, right? To kind of plan businesses and things like that, right? It's a good time for all of that to purchase new technology, right? To travel. It's a good time for all of that. But when we have Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, y'all, we're talking about issues in travel, issues with transportation. We're talking about communication being stifled and feeling stuck and restricted with your ability to communicate, finding the right words to say, also feeling overly judged and criticized, not necessarily enjoying being in community and not necessarily wanting to be communal, right? Also issues with personal technology, right? Like phones and laptops and things like that. So these are things that you need to be mindful of because it's a lot of feelings of being constricted and criticized and judged during this time. So having Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius during the holiday season, y'all, it makes these issues exacerbated because during the holiday season, you're kind of forced, and not saying forced, but a lot of us make the choice to be in community, to be around family. So I wanted to, and I felt led to share my holistic wellness practices with the tribe so that y'all can understand how I not just survive, but thrive through any Mercury retrograde, but especially one during the holiday season. And as I always tell y'all, we have to keep in mind that when Mercury is in retrograde, anytime any planet is in retrograde, which right now we have multiple planets in retrograde. Okay, and I'll get into that as well, right? Because we're talking about the planetary alignment that impacts this Mercury retrograde, baby, is quite a few, including Jupiter, which is the ruler of Sagittarius. Anytime a planet is in retrograde, the planet is not actually moving backwards. It's the illusion that the planet is moving backwards. So if you were to view the planet through a telescope, it would appear as though the planet is rotating in opposite direction, moving in opposite direction, but it is not actually happening. But that optical illusion can impact the energy that we feel, right? So the thing about it is you have to understand that you have the power to decide how this energy will impact you, and if you will allow the impact to impact your vibe, to shift your vibe, to shift your energy. So we just have to be more intentional about practicing our wellness practices anytime we are in the midst of a Mercury retrograde season. But again, especially this holiday season one, right? Because this is going to really affect how we show up in community, how we show up with family. So we need to be mindful. Now, I'm going to share with y'all my 5 tips, but let me just first touch on some planetary alignment aspects. And wellness community, y'all know you don't need to take notes because I'll share my notes with y'all in the Patreon. But if you are not in the wellness community, you could just shorthand this part. You can really shorthand the notes as a whole today. Okay, we don't really have nothing that you will need to take verbatim unless you want to. Okay. But first off, I want to touch on Jupiter. Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, and Jupiter will be opposing this Mercury retrograde. Now, Jupiter is also retrograde. Jupiter is our planet of expansion. So anytime we have these challenges, right, when we have Mercury retrograde and it is opposing Jupiter, which is also retrograde, this is the thing. It brings oppositions as a whole, bring challenging energy. But our issue will mainly be agreements. The challenge here will be agreement. The challenge here will be coming together with the collective to agree and decide. So don't be surprised if you find yourself having difficulty communicating what you want, what you need, and having that agreed upon. This is a time where if you have business that you need to do, if you're signing a contract, if you're making holiday plans and arrangements, don't be surprised if you find a lot of disagreements emerging, right, and coming up. But this is the wellness practice that you need to implement. Number one, a lot of patience. You're going to have to practice a lot of patience, a lot of understanding, and you need to communicate clearly exactly what you need and why. What you need and why. You also need to mind your yeses. And I can't say that enough. Mind your yeses. Wellness community, we've been talking about that a lot lately. For those of you who don't know, we are reading the 7 spiritual laws of success. And yesterday I was telling the tribe that it's important to mind your yeses. You have to mind your yeses. Sometimes we just kind of agree to things out of habit, right? And we agree to things because we know that we can do it, right? We have the ability to do it. But the question is, do you have the capacity to do it? Does your yes really align with your desires? Right? So right now, when you have a Jupiter retrograde, which means that there's challenges to the area of expansion, sometimes there's challenge to the areas of flow, you have to be mindful of communicating and agreeing to certain things that will block your flow, certain things that will block your ability to expand and be well, right? So certain things that may block your abundance. Don't be an overgiver. Don't be an overlover. Don't do things because you think you have to, as opposed to doing things because you deeply desire to. Don't move from a space of people pleasing. Move from a space of wellness. So that is really going to be a practice that you have to implement anytime, but especially during this holiday season. And yes, Golden, patience, patience. And the reason I said patience earlier is because we have to always understand that you are aware of this energy, but just because you are aware of this energy does not mean that everyone is aware of this energy. So a lot of folks will be communicating and moving and disagreeing and criticizing and judging and don't even realize that they are overdoing it. They won't even realize that they're doing too much, right? But you have to practice patience and understanding. You know where they're coming from. You know why this energy is coming up. Patience and understanding. And let's be clear. Just because you understand why they're doing it, and just because you're patient with them while they are doing it, does not mean that you have to accept that energy. Okay? Two different things. Be patient, understand, but that does not equate acceptance. You do not have to accept their criticism. You do not have to accept their judgment. You do not have to accept their response when you say no and they don't like the fact that you said no. You do not have to accept their energy. You can be patient. You can give them grace. You can understand their perspective and where they're coming from and still stand in your no and still stands in your desires. And I'm not accepting anything less than an agreement upon reciprocity. There needs to be reciprocity in agreements. Okay. And again, I can't say this enough. All of this energy is occurring during the holiday season. So even down to, if you decide, hey, I don't have the capacity to cook a full meal for the family, and I need help, and I need people to step in, or I don't have the capacity to go to everyone's home and do all the things. It's okay to stand in your no. It's okay to stand in your, I'm not going to be the host of this and do all the things alone. If y'all can't show up to support me, then none of it will get done. It's okay to stand in your needs and your desires, because that's really standing up for your wellness, right? So decide, what do you need to be well? What do you need to be well? And don't accept anything less than what you deserve, and what you are worthy of is your wellness. We've been talking about worthiness a lot, right? You always have to remember that you are worthy of your wellness, okay? So I definitely wanted to touch on that. I also wanted to touch on, we have Neptune squaring our Mercury retrograde, right? Anytime we have squares, that is really the call for us to step up in that area. Now, Neptune is our planet of spirituality. A square, in a sense, is a challenge for us to step up, a challenge for us to be better in an area in order to thrive. And this is where our thriving comes in, right? Because again, it's not just about surviving. The patience is going to help you survive. The grace is going to help you survive. The understanding is going to help you survive. But you need to thrive during any season, but especially in a Mercury retrograde, where challenges in communication and transportation and all of that could come up, right? Technology, agreements, and all of that. To thrive through this energy, Neptune, our planet of spirituality, squaring is calling us to step into our spiritual practices. And a spiritual practice that I really think is going to be important for us to step in, and wellness community, y'all know this. We talked about this last night with law. I think it was law 5 of the 7 spiritual laws of success, which is all about intention and desire. And yesterday I kept telling y'all, like, the key thing you want to take away from this section is conscious intention. Conscious intention. And when we're speaking about conscious intention, are you aware of what your intention is? Are you aware of what your purpose, your why? When we're saying intention, it's about, what is your purpose? What is your why? Are you conscious about your why before you speak, before you do? Before you give any focus and attention, are you aware of your conscious intention? And I want everybody to step into that spiritual practice and elevate in that spiritual practice during this Mercury retrograde season. Conscious intention. Bring awareness to your intention and align your attention with your conscious intention. If your intention is not centered in wellness, if your intention is not centered in love, if your intention is not beneficial not only to yourself but to the all, do not align your attention, your words, your behaviors, your actions, anything with an intention that is not centered in wellness and beneficial to the all. Move in conscious intention. Okay, that is how you are going to thrive during this season. And the reason that that will help you thrive, moving with conscious intention, being in conscious intention, the reason that will help you thrive during this holiday season is because this is a practice that really, really, really is the foundation of manifestation. The energy you put out is the energy you get back. The thoughts become things. When you focus your attention on your conscious intention, and your conscious intention is centered in wellness, abundance, love, and thriving, not just for self, but for the all, that is the energy that you put out, and that is the energy that will return unto you abundantly well. That is the foundation for manifestation. In the notes yesterday, while we were reading the book, I had put in the notes that was something that Deepak Chopra said in the book, which is essentially intention plus attention equals manifestation. And never forget that your conscious intention plus your attention, which your attention is your focus, your behaviors, your words, etc. Intention, conscious intention plus attention equals manifestation. So if you really intentionally focus on conscious intention and you elevate that practice during Mercury retrograde, which is really challenging us to be well in that practice, you will be a master manifester. This is the key to master manifestation. You have to do this. If you want to step into making things happen quickly, okay, having your manifestation show up quickly, that is going to be a huge shifter for you, a huge game changer, moving in conscious intention. Okay, so that is going to be the spiritual challenge. That is going to be the spiritual elevation that you need to thrive during Mercury retrograde season. Okay. And there was one more thing I wanted to touch on. Let me get to my notes. Oh, ooh, 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 ooh. Now, now, I love y'all dearly. Something we always talk about is healing. We have to touch on Chiron. Chiron represents the wounded healer. Chiron will be trining this Mercury retrograde, trying to bring us harmony. The beautiful thing about this holiday season and this Mercury retrograde and this trine with Chiron happening is that all things will bring us healing. So there will be a lot of healing conversations. There will be a lot of closure happening for people. There will be a lot of childhood wounds that will finally get acknowledged and validated and addressed during this season. But in order to do that, we have to mind our communication. It's going to be important for y'all right now to mind your mouth, mind your communication, but don't fold. Don't fold. Do not fold. Have the conversation. Bring up the topic. Do not stifle your communication during this time. Sagittarius energy, Mercury retrograde is in Sagittarius. Sagittarius energy is all about the flow, mutable fire energy, all about being spontaneous, all about having the hot, spicy conversations, bringing the fire to the room. But we have to remember that fire is purifying, fire is cleansing. So having this Mercury retrograde, Mercury, our planet of communication, right now in Sagittarius, what we have to do is we have to allow those hot, spicy, purifying conversations to occur. And those conversations are going to challenge people's thinking. They're going to challenge people's comfortability. But don't be afraid to be the person that brings forth that challenge. Because again, that Chiron trine, that harmony, that healing harmony, it's going to bring healing, not just for you, but for community. Sagittarius is a communal sign. It's all about building community. It's going to bring a lot of healing for community, generational healing. So this is a good time to have those conversations, but you have to be mindful about how you have them. And if you are moving in conscious intention, if you are moving in conscious intention, it will be easy, because if your intention is wellness, if your intention is healing, if your intention is bringing awareness, bringing closure, bringing improvement, bringing love, peace and understanding to a situation, your words will align with those intentions and it will be easy. It will be easy and it will flow, and people will be able to feel those intentions. So even if they are not in alignment with the intention, they will realize, they will feel that they are not in alignment, and it won't be a question of who needs to shift and change and adjust their energy and approach to the conversation. Okay. So just be mindful of that. This is not a good time to suppress your feelings and your emotions. This is not a good time to kind of just, sometimes folks get around family and you start to get triggered and you like, I'm just gonna leave. I'm just gonna walk away. I'm just gonna ignore it. I'm just gonna suppress my own feelings just to get through, just to survive. We're not surviving, we're thriving through this. And to thrive through this, practice your conscious intention, align your attention, your words, your actions, your focus with your wellness centered intention, and it will be well when you have those conversations of healing, those conversations about generational trauma, those conversations about old wounds from the childhood, right? And not just that may have happened to you, but things that may have happened to some of the elders in your family that then trickled down, right? So again, generational things. This is a good time to have those conversations, okay, family? So I can't say it enough. Be the fire in the room. Be the fire in the room. Be the spice in the room, okay? But also, you may want to sweeten your words, okay? Sweeten your words. So be mindful to keep something sweet on you. Get you some honey drops, okay? They have like the little honey ginger drops that I like to keep. I forget the brand, but they come in a yellow bag with their little ginger drops, okay? And they have honey in them. Carry some of those with you during this holiday season. And ginger is a fire herb, and then that honey will bring sweetness to your words. So when you feel the energy coming up and you feel the desire to have these conversations, put your little ginger honey drop in and have the conversation. Okay. Make sure that you are being mindful, conscious intention. Okay. Being mindful of your words and communicating with love and wellness, but have that conversation. And as usual, this is a good time to ask those deep questions, right? Have people share about their child, especially I'm speaking of the elders in your family, right? Have those conversations, ask them to share about their childhood experiences and their childhood emotions and things like that, because that too will bring a lot of healing energy. So Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius with an opposition in Jupiter, opposition of Jupiter retrograde, let's be clear. And then that square of Neptune, our planet of spirituality. And then we have Chiron trining. This is a good time that we can not only survive, but thrive through Mercury retrograde and be well in Mercury retrograde when we practice our spiritual practices, our spiritual wellness practice of conscious intention. Okay. And then also, again, being patient, practicing a lot of patience, practicing a lot of grace during this time, being mindful of your words, minding your mouth. And I also said, and I can't say this enough, don't take anything personally. Like I said, we have Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is usually very optimistic, usually very idealistic, free-flowing, adventurous. But right now, because of the retrograde that is happening, people may be overly critical and judgmental. You do not have to accept that. You can understand why they're doing that, but you don't have to accept that energy. So just be mindful to not accept any of that energy, right? Don't accept that. Don't accept the judgments. Don't accept the criticisms. Know who you are, stand in who you are, and just be open and free. Okay, be open and free. And like I said, mind your yeses and mind your no's. Mind your yeses and mind your no's. Do not step into that people pleaser role. Okay, be mindful of why you are saying yes and when you say yes. Make sure that you are saying yes from a space of not just because you have to, but yes, because you want to and because you have the capacity to. Okay, be mindful of that. Now, I wanted to share with y'all some crystals that you can utilize during this time to be well. Okay. Herbs, I kind of already said, I talked about the ginger, right? That ginger will really help open you up. You can also utilize some mint during this time to open up that throat chakra and bring ease to communication. Another good herb is going to be cayenne pepper. Cayenne. I said it right. Kanye or Kanye. Okay, that cayenne pepper, that spice, that fire herb, and just anything. Wellness community, we was talking about pepper soup, right? Any of the spices right now is going to be a good time to help open you up, open up your intuition, open up your third eye, open up that throat chakra, and also just detoxify the body. So get into your spices, but especially your cayenne pepper. Okay, you also want to be mindful to have some bay leaf with you right now. Bay leaf is going to be good for protection. Bay leaf is a good herb that is dispelling negative energy and moving negative energy away from you. Okay. And then the last herb that I'm going to tell you to carry with you, just anywhere you go, a cinnamon stick. Carry a cinnamon stick with you, okay? And a cinnamon stick is going to be good for attracting abundance and wellness. Remember, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, our planet of expansion, our planet, one of the planets of abundance, okay, expanding in all areas of life. So we need to be mindful that we are stepping into this expansion energy, especially when we have Jupiter retrograde opposing Mercury retrograde, right? We have to be mindful that we are attracting wellness centered expansion, okay? So carry a cinnamon stick with you, a cinnamon stick in your purse or in your pocket, okay, would be good during this time. Now, crystals, I wanted to share with y'all some crystals for communication and safe travels, because like I said, when we have Mercury retrograde, sometimes there can be issues with transportation, okay? So a lot of congestion, a lot of issues with like, flights being delayed and things like that, and during the holiday season, that type of stuff could be tough. So I wanted to make sure that you guys had could make you a mojo bag for safe travels, okay? And let me just add the herb to the list. High John. High John is also a good herb for transportation, and you can add that to the mojo bag. Now, the first crystal is going to be lapis lazuli, and of course, that's good for communication. Okay, that's actually what I have in this ring here from Goddess Flower Beads. Okay, lapis lazuli is good for communication, bringing ease and flow to communication. Open up that throat chakra. And again, that ginger honey drop is going to be good for that as well. So have you, especially when you're around a lot of people, holiday seasons, you're around a lot of people, you want to make sure that you are carrying your lapis lazuli crystal. You have your ginger honey drops with you. You're making you some mint tea. Okay, keep that throat chakra clear, open, and be mindful of your words. Tiger's eye. Tiger's eye is good for balance, emotional wellness, minding your emotions, okay? Clearing out and cleansing your emotions. So not accepting any energy, any emotions that do not belong to you, and also warding off any negative energy, especially centered around criticisms and judgments, projections from other people. So tiger's eye is going to be good for that. Amethyst, of course, one of my favorite crystals. Amethyst is all about that peace energy, helping us attract peace and wellness as well as balance. Amethyst is also a good crystal for bringing ease to travel. Moonstone is a good travel crystal. Moonstone is good for clearing your paths, clearing your roads, bringing light to dark places. Okay, so any areas, especially when it comes to not just travel, but also to communication as well, bringing light to dark places. So that Chiron trine, that healing generational wounds, healing childhood wounds. Moonstone is good for bringing that light to dark places, bringing healing, clearing the roads, clearing paths. Moonstone is good for that. Black tourmaline. Black tourmaline is a good herb, a good crystal for protection. So that will be good to put in your travel mojo bag as well. So your travel mojo bag can be quite simple. You can do the black tourmaline, you can do your moonstone, you can have your amethyst as well. You can put your high John the Conqueror, you can put your cinnamon stick, you can also add that cayenne pepper in there, okay? And that will help open the roads. You can also add some coffee beans as well. That will help open the roads and clear the paths for you, bring you safe travels, okay? And then that is also just good to carry with you anytime, not just during the holiday season, but anytime, but especially when we have Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, okay, family? Now, we under 30 minutes. I told you I wasn't going to be before y'all long. I told you. Didn't I tell you that? We done. We are done. Okay. Now, keep in mind, this Mercury retrograde officially starts on November 25th and will last until December 15th. But we are already in the pre shadow period for that energy. And that energy will last. The post shadow period will last until about December 29th. So, through Indigenous Peoples Day, aka Thanksgiving, but Indigenous Peoples Day, Okay. Giving love, honor, and respect to the indigenous beings all around the world. Um, okay, but also Christmas and Kwanzaa and all of the things, okay, all of the gathering holidays, okay. Mercury retrograde energy will be present during that time. So be well and remember that you are not just surviving, but you are thriving. Conscious intention is the spiritual practice that you want to step into and elevate in during this holiday season. Okay. Much love, much wellness, much peace. And always remember what is for you, you shall have. And you do not have to accept any energy that does not align with your wellness. You are worthy of wellness. Step into your worthiness. Okay. I love y'all, family, and I will see y'all soon. Much peace, y'all.